Section 12.1, Finding the domains of rational functions and simplifying rational expressions. In this section, we will discuss the meaning of a rational function and how to find its domain. We will simplify rational expressions. We will also discuss how to use a rational model to make estimates about authentic situations. A rational function is a function whose equation can be put into the form f of x equaling p of x over q of x, where p of x and q of x are polynomials and q of x is non-zero. So the first thing we're going to do is evaluate the function f of x equaling x minus 5 over x squared minus 4 at the indicated values. The first value I'm going to evaluate this at is 6. So f of 6 is equal to 6 minus 5 all over 6 squared minus 4. So this would be 1 over 36 minus 4, which is equal to 1 over 32. So f of 6 is equal to 1 over 32. Now I'm going to evaluate f of negative 3. So this is equal to negative 3 minus 5 all over negative 3 squared minus 4. My numerator will equal negative 8. My denominator will equal 9 minus 4. So I end up with negative 8 over 5. So f of negative 3 is equal to negative 8 over 5. Now we want to find the domain of the function. The domain of a function is all the values that can be evaluated at the function. So in the case of a rational function, the domain is all those values that make the denominator equal to 0, since any number over 0 is undefined. So we need to figure out what makes the denominator 0, and that value is not the domain of my function. So I'll take my denominator and set it equal to 0. Solve for x, and I end up with 3. So for f of x equaling 2 over x minus 3, the number 3 is not in the domain, because 2 over 3 minus 3 involves a division by 0. No other value of x leads to a division by 0, so the domain is the set of all real numbers except 3. So this can be written as simply x can't equal 3. It could be written as negative infinity comma 3 union 3 to infinity. It could be written as x such that x can't equal 3. So there's many ways to express it, so just make sure you choose a way and express what the domain is. So I want to find the domain of the function. I have f of x equaling x minus 5 over x squared minus 4. So the domain is where the denominator, the domain excludes all values that make the denominator 0. So I need to take my denominator, set it equal to 0, and find those values that make it 0 so I can exclude them from my domain. So I end up with x equaling plus or minus 2. So my domain is all real numbers except the values positive and negative 2. So the numbers negative 2 and 2 are not in the domain, since these values of x lead to divisions by 0. The domain of G is the set of real numbers except negative 2 and 2. So the domain of a rational function f of x equaling p of x over q of x is a set of real numbers except for those numbers that, when substituted for x, give q of x equaling 0.